had to get a new camera because mine wasn't working, and now it's like so close on me. There,
I like the books in the background, though. It's a very intellectual look, so it's good.
jammed packed with books. I swear I'm reading them. I can't not buy a book when I go to little bookstores. I got one that I'm excited by. It's called Potomac. We haven't started the meeting yet. I don't care if it's recording. It's called Potomac Fever, and it's about like a history of the Potomac River in the DC area.
Oh, that sounds fascinating.
Really excited. Oh, great. You got to, Sean. Yeah, when I finish it, you can totally read it too. But it was at Lost City because I can't, it's if it's a local book about local like history or
Yeah.
nature, I can't help myself. And Sean, can you remind me, and you can just say it in the chat, our meetings, they're recorded and posted on our YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, I usually have them up by then like the next day,
Okay.
tomorrow.
Because the person who did our grant proposal, she couldn't join tonight. But I can send her the link to the video.
Yeah,
Because
I'll have it up. I'll have it up by like later tonight for sure.
yeah, it's no rush. Because we'll probably discuss a few things that I just want to make sure that um Taylor Mitchell understands that like when she submits receipts and other things just to adhere to. All right, so welcome to the Public Services and Environment ANC 1C meeting committee meeting tonight. Meeting tonight because we do have an agenda item. We got a grant application from Platform of Hope for a resource fair that they would like to hold, I believe, in late October. I did not see the exact date, and they may have not set the exact date quite yet, but in order for us as an ANC to, we need to one, discuss the grant application, discuss parts of their budget, and then vote on it. And then that'll go to the full ANC, most like a part of our consent agenda. And then we'll work from there about how we proceed with this particular grant. So I think I can share my screen. And all the grant application materials are in, if you go to the agenda, I think it linked accidentally just to like the email thread that was from Denise. I think that's what I got sent to you, Commissioner Diamond. Apologies, but it's all in that folder.
Yeah, I mean, I found it eventually. I just went back to a prior
Okay.
email. So I pulled up and read through the whole application. So I'm on it.
Okay.
Prepared.
I must have, when I was doing the right click to grab the link, I must have been on the one document and not all of them. All right, let me share my Zoom has changed how they do things again. They always seem to do this. Okay. All right. So now I wanted to get to this. All right. Okay. Is my screen showing?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So if you're not familiar, this is the grant application that if you would like to submit a grant to ANC 1C, and this is actually created by the Office of the ANC. It's basically their form that they want now filled out. And I want to primarily go to some of the information. So Platform of Hope is a nonprofit that's located at 1640 Columbia Road, which is in the Festival Center. And so they're located right here in our ANC. And so there's information about who's on their board of directors and other things, but I'll get quickly to the event they describe and what they're looking for funding on. So Platform for Hope plans to host a resource fair for families in Mount Pleasant, Adams Morgan, Columbia Heights for the area of Ward 1. This will be a one-day event that will bring together local nonprofits, service providers, and community organizations to share information and connect families directly with resources and housing, legal services, workforce development, health, and education. There will be bilingual English, Spanish with Aramaic interpretation available, always Aramaic, to ensure full accessibility. Funding will be used for space rental, interpretation supplies, and printed materials that enable equitable participation by all families. The fair is expected to serve around 100,000, or not 100 residents.
The
So
question is the fair going to be at the festival center? So the fund for the cost for location is to pay festival center? Is that it?
that was my understanding when I
Okay.
talked with Taylor, that it will be held like they're in that main space they have on the first floor.
Okay.
And then for Hope, they rent a small office on one of the upstairs floors. But this application is just for renting that space on that floor in Festival Center. So my understanding is that the total amount for the event they project will be around $5,000, but they're requesting from our ANC 1C around $3,000. Uh, and I think it was in there's some information about who will be served through this resource fair and how it will benefit families in Ward 1. And that does not duplicate any other government services. It's primarily to bring all the services that we'd like to get, or they'd like to get residents in touch with, sort of making a common space for those individuals and residents in our community to have a space for that. So that was the basics of the application. And I think the thing I wanted to share, so when the grant application comes in, they also have to, at the same time, submit it to the Office of the ANC. And because they have to review it to make sure it's permissible. So the parts I wanted to note here, and particularly when the individual who applied for this grant from Platform of Hope information to sort of adhere to. So the grant application in general, the Office of the OANC found that the grant was permissible. So that gives us an opportunity as an ANC to move forward with discussing it, knowing that we've been given sort of the pre-green light to review it, and that it does not mean that we as an ANC have to grant the full amount, or we could say no in general. But at least we know we sort of have that upfront approval from the Office of the ANC. The one thing that in the back and forth emails, that email thread, I think you may have been seeing, Commissioner Diamond, is that in the original budget they submitted, some of the requests was to help pay for resource bags, and through discussion with the Office of ANC, they revised their budget where instead of some of that money paying for resource bags, they'll be used instead to help pay for an interpreter.
Now that's good, because that was something that I had flagged,
Yes.
because giving individual things is not really benefiting the entire community. So I'm happy to see that changed, because that was something that I thought, this is not really how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, and I think that's a helpful note for us to remember, or for individuals who want to apply for grants with the ANC. Like, there's a lot of, if it's a benefit that not every individual, because not every individual is going to go in there and get that bag and have that resource, so that's part of it. So so the change in the budget was to have $1,200 go towards the space rental, and then $1,800 for the interpretation services. And in that email chain, Ms. Mitchell had laid out nicely like the cost per hour for interpreters. So that was that component. Is it in here? No, it'll be back on the other. So it'll be important, like if we do go forward with approving this grant, that the grantee will need to make sure to get receipts, so that when we do the final filing with the of ANC, that we have to show that the money that was given was spent on the items that they said they would spend it on. So it's important to get receipts after the event and then submit those to our ANC to indicate that, so that we as an ANC don't get have a lock put on our allotments in the future because we don't have proper documentation. So that was the biggest point I wanted to make tonight. Receipts will be very important. I think those were the main pieces I wanted for us to discuss, Commissioner Diamond. Were there other questions or other documents you wanted us that we should?
No, I mean, my main concern was the issue of goodie bags, which has been resolved. And then another small concern was the communication aspect is how this will be, how news of it will get spread into the community. And I see on the page that you have on the share, there's some ideas listed, because like I do think this is a time where so many people really need resources. And so making sure that the people who need those resources actually know about this fair, it, you know, to me, if we're spending ANC money on it, we want to benefit the people in our neighborhood that need this. And so I think the communication piece is, and the money that we're giving is going for interpreters and for space. So
Right.
I just want to make sure that there's some money or attention or plan to publicize it.
I agree. I don't remember. I know they have a email distribution list. They probably through their I could get that clarification from Ms. Mitchell and like uh share it with the commissioners.
And also, what would be helpful for me is since this is my first year as a commissioner, this amount of money, is this a big grant or a small grant?
It's like in the middle, like typically it's sort of we've in the past had a maximum amount around 5,000, but it's also a little bit dependent on what our budget is. Yeah.
Okay.
And so uh I think in our previous like early our full ANC meeting earlier this month in September, when we went through the budget, it was pretty, we're in good shape. Like, and so we could, I think, as Scott said it, we don't have oodles of money, but we're in good shape. Um,
Okay.
and then our new fiscal year will start on October 1. So by the time we um, would award this grant, it will pull from our the beginning of our next fiscal year. And so if we took, I think we allotted 10,000 for grants right now. So if we did the full amount with this, that would still leave us 7,000 for the remainder of the fiscal year to work with different communities. So that's the only thing like going forward. If we grant other ones, we'll just have to be, we'll have to sort of think about like how to work with a remaining 7,000.
Okay, that sounds good.
But I can definitely ask Taylor about their outreach. And I don't know, um, and maybe with the festival center, maybe they post things. I did check their website. I didn't see anything posted yet about this resource fair, but I think they were still locking things down.
Okay.
But they do have a like they actually have a lot of events and I was like, oh, we should go to some of these. So I did notice like they have a very nice events page, easy to use. Um, and like one thing, like I noticed, I think it's coming up soon. Sorry, later in October, they have like a happy hour at Code Red. noticed all these other, they do like a lot of stuff posted for their fundraisers, but, and they also do some pop-up stuff with the Adams Morgan Farmers Market. So things we're learning. But yeah, my assumption is that at some point they would post
Okay.
on their website and then their email distribution list, and then probably with the other nonprofits that they have invited, maybe that's how they sort of get the word out.
No, I mean, and it's definitely something that I think the ANC should support. It's just when I think about if our grant budget is $10,000, a $3,000 grant, that's 30% of our budget, which seems like, it seems like a big amount, but I don't know. But it's definitely, I can get behind this. I think it's you have to start somewhere, and we want to be generous. So, I can get behind this.
Okay. And I will say we did not do any grants within the last year. Part of it is because of the Office of the ANC's gotten better with the documentation about like what's allowed and not allowed. So that's been
Yeah.
helpful for us. And now that the grantees need to sort of work through them first in order to sort of get the green light to move forward with it. And so as like we're seeing, if it's like we can never help pay for food. And then if it's equipment, items or something that could only go to people who attend it and it stays with them and it doesn't get used elsewhere, then we can't pay. So like the resource bags. So I think for organizations that want to apply to us, they may not have a specific item that we could help pay for given whatever their event is. So we're
Yeah,
learning.
and my other question is there any stipulation that they need to thank or publicize that they're getting a grant from us, or how does that work?
I don't know. No, I don't think they're required. Like
Okay.
from the Office of ANC, no. They may put that in like their end of year report for like where their funding sources or in kind or thank yous, but my understanding it's not required.
Okay.
If they were asking if we are opting to do a sponsorship instead,
I see. Okay.
then it's
Okay.
like that's where we're basically paying for like an ad. Like our support helps to pay to get like an ad in their newsletter.
I see. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
but
No,
otherwise,
I think this is all good, and I like the edits that have been made. So I think we're good to go. And with the saying to the full commission that this committee approves of this.
yeah. And I think we can certainly even help them advertise it. So
Oh yeah,
yeah, because
yeah.
I think it will be a great benefit for the community. Okay, so I would move to that we support the Platform of Hope grant for the full amount of 3,000. Sounds like we also have your support, Commissioner Diamond.
Yes, yes, I second, I agree. You have my full support.
Perfect. All right, so I will reach out to Ms. Taylor to give her that information. And then I believe we just it'll go to I do not believe the full ANC will now need to vote on it because we had the vote on it, but I will check with Commissioner Wood.
Okay, okay.
But either way, we'll have parts or pieces of this on the agenda for the full ANC. And just as a reminder, we're not meeting next Wednesday because that's Yom Kippur. We'll be meeting the Wednesday after that.
Right, right. And one other thing, which is maybe a Commissioner Wood question, is if once this we approve it, is putting it up on our website, like this is a grant that we funded, and putting just to kind of close the circle, just because I think for the community to know that we as the ANC are supporting the community, that's good for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And we would like to I think we're learning and getting better about how to do grants in a way that the Office of the ANC will support. So
Yes,
we're getting
yes.
better.
Yeah, we're all on a learning curve. So yeah, there's no
Yeah.
shame in that. You just got to start doing it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think with that was our only agenda item for tonight. But an important one because I do know, like, I think the plan was for this resource fair to be at the end of October. So I want to make sure to get on our meeting tonight so that we could get the funds to Platform of Hope in time for the
Perfect.
event.
Yeah.
So
All
we should
right.
meet that goal. All right, well, with that, thank you, Commissioner Diamond, and I talk to you later, everyone. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Have a good evening. I guess
Right.
our meeting is adjourned.
It's a
Bye.
Great, thank you.